Hello, this is me doing my expressing the self and other video assignment. I'm going to start right now. Humans in general would come across a plethora of problems, trials, and tribulations, but one of the more prevailing issues that would pop up would be within our own heads. Around 300 million people would be suffering from some anxiety disorder, and almost everyone in the world would feel some version of anxiety. It's a natural human emotion to feel whatever you are nervous about anything in general, but many would believe that combating it and learning how to navigate it would be one of the keys to living a successful life. As Bob would learn in his life, navigating his anxiety and learning not to let it take control of his life would be one of the most valuable lessons he could learn. Bob started off his youth not the most confident of people, always idolizing those who would be themselves 100% of the time, but never really taking the time to apply this to himself. It's not like he wouldn't try to, but it never seemed to work out for him. Becoming too much of a person who would do things for others rather than himself, always trying to please others, even at the expense of himself. Then, reflecting on his idols, he would always question why he hadn't made any progress towards being like those whom he looked up to, breaking into the social compact, the comparison theory, therefore bringing down his self-esteem even more. Instead of focusing on what he was doing wrong in his own life, he would continue it day by day, doing the same things that his idols would do, thinking it would bring him the same success that he brought them. Bob would only get older, realizing that this spontaneous mentality would not really bring him anywhere, allowing those who negatively impacted him to remain in his life, keeping his hobbies and habits that would only bring him temporary satisfaction. Finally, reflecting upon his self-concept and realizing that time will only continue to pass and change only comes when you start to act for yourself. Realizing that serving others for a form of people pleasing is a form of anxiety, worrying about what people will think if you don't go along with what they say. It's not healthy and would need to be fixed. Realizing your self efficacy, what you would be good at, your goals, your values, and your visions that would define what you stand for, and putting your foot down for it. Growing that self confidence, that ability, the simple ability to say no. Bob would come to this realization, taking the time necessary to reflect on himself, having to having time to realize that whatever he stands for and believes would be enough for himself. He develops self-actualization. No matter how awkward he would be, no matter how disappointed others would be if he said no, and no matter what mistakes it would lead to. It would mean that he's being 100% himself and doing actions based on what is best for him. The other factors that he would idolize from those that he looks up to, like the life that he wants to live, the people that would be around him, and the success he would want would come naturally. Developing self-adequacy within himself and learning to do those things for the love of himself. The only thing that would worry Bob would be the fact that doing these things for himself may put across this image of someone that he's not, someone who would be more selfish. However, him doing this would only attract the right people who would want to take the time to really know him. It may not be the best at first, but according to the interaction appearance theory, the more interaction he has with others, the more they will realize his personality and motivation to better himself. No longer going day by day to appease others at the expense of his own self growth. Living every day for himself, defeating that form of anxiety and learning how to transform it into something that he would help himself improve as an individual. Taking something whose whole purpose is to take control of the person and flipping it around on its head to progress himself.